Hello princesses! Today I'm going to be talking about the Etude House Universe Multi Palettes. There are 2 palettes in this collection and they are so super cute. I'm not usually a big eyeshadow person, but I am trying to get better at it because you guys have been requesting that I review eye products. So I have been practicing using eyeshadow. I don't know why, I'm just not very good at it, so I've been watching lots of tutorials, don't worry, and I'm getting better at it. I wouldn't say that I am the best person at doing eyeshadow whatsoever, but be patient with me. We were all beginners at this once, and most of us just don't put it on YouTube. I decided to pick these 2 palettes up because they come in beautiful limited edition packaging. I'm not sure if you can actually get these without the limited edition packaging, and I really liked that they had both eyeshadow colours and blushes. That is supposed to be a blush, but I mean it's gold. Probably not going to use that as a blush, especially with my skin tone. And since they are limited edition, if you do see these for sale and you want them, I would grab them as soon as possible because they are not likely to be repeated, and once they are gone, they are gone. So the product description says, 7 colours for eye and cheek multi-palette resembling pink or gold colour galaxy. There are 2 palettes in this collection, a pink and a gold palette. The packaging is so pretty. I'm not usually a galaxy girl, but these are still very pretty to me. There are 7 shades in each palette, 6 shadow shades and 1 cheek shade. You can use the cheek shade as a shadow shade too. K-Beauty shadows are generally quite glittery and very sheer, so I was surprised to see some more pigmented shades in the palettes. Pink Galaxy has cool pink toned shades. I prefer this palette to the Gold Galaxy palette because I think that the shadow shades look better on my skin tone. There is a nice mix of matte and shimmery shades, though I think that Moonlight is very disappointing. It's a very sheer glitter, but it's almost too sheer to show up. The lightest shade is Mercury, which is just a neutral bone. Moonlight is the sheerest gold shimmer, but you can build it up by using your fingers. Pink Planet is a pretty peach. Venus is a beautiful cool-toned transition shade. Time Warp is a frosty pink glitter. Red Wormhole is a nice warm-toned red. And Andromeda is a cool-toned dark brown. Pink Planet works really well as a blush and a shadow shade. It's quite subtle, but it can be built up easily, though sometimes I do pick up the shadow shades with my brush on accident, which is quite annoying. It almost looks like a peach on my skin tone, which I really enjoy. My favourite shades are Venus, which I used in my crease, and Time Warp, which I used on the lid. I'm not the best at shadows, though I am practicing to get better, so I actually like that the shades are a little more on the sheer side because they are more forgiving on beginners. These shadows last fairly well throughout the day and don't crease on me. I did try out Red Wormhole, which I kind of quite liked. I shared it out on the outer corners of my eyes because, like I said, I'm not ready for the darker shades quite yet. I do think that the darker shades work quite well too, and this shade is really pretty. Gold Galaxy has warm-toned shades. These shades are really pretty, but I feel like some of the shades look orange on my skin tone, which is so weird because they do not look like that on the promo pictures or other princesses swatches. Jupiter is another vanilla beige. Sunlight is a gold shimmer. Gold Planet is the highlight, but is a nice champagne shimmer on the lid. Gravity is a warm-toned transition shade. Yorktown is a copper shimmer. Mars is a chocolate shimmer. And Lonely Pluto is a really pretty dark brown with gold shimmer. Gold Planet is listed as a blush shade, but I think it's more suited as a highlight for deeper skin tones. It's a little bit too dark for me to use as a highlighter, and it's not particularly shiny. It's actually more like a shimmer, which is a little bit odd. I definitely prefer the blush in the pink palette. Use Gravity in the crease, Sunlight in the inner corner, and Lonely Pluto on the outer corner. This is a little bit too intense for me, but I do think it does look cute for more of an evening look. I definitely need to work on blending the colours all the way down to my lash line though. I can see a gap there, which is not a cute look. Although I only usually use eyeshadows about 4 to 5 times per year, these little palettes have inspired me to use it a little bit more. I definitely prefer the pink palette over the gold because I find that the shades are a little bit more wearable for me. And I feel like the blush shade works really well for a lighter skin tone, whereas the gold shade in the other palette doesn't work that well for me. I find that my staple colours are definitely the little crease colour here, which I think is called Venus. So I love Venus. I think that Time Warp is really good for me. Pink Planet, of course, I use quite a lot because it is a blush. And I've also been trying to use Red Wormhole too. Andromeda is a little bit on the darker side for me, and I'd probably only use it if I was like going out to dinner or something like that. I think that Mercury, which is the like vanilla beige sort of colour, there isn't very much pigment to that one, so I kind of find it like a useless colour. The same with Moonlight. That one, it's just too sheer for me. I would only be using it with my fingertips if I wanted to put like a little bit of glitter like in the centre of my eye, but considering that the other shades are mostly shimmery, I don't see why I would need that. But overall, this palette is definitely my favourite out of the two, and I did do an eye look today using my Naked 3 palette by Urban Decay, which has really similar shades, and it looks pretty much the same as the eye look that I did with this one, but this is obviously a fraction of the price. I did find that the Urban Decay ones were more pigmented, so I needed to use less product, but like I said, as a beginner, I would rather build things up than have to shear them out later, because shearing them out is much more difficult. So for beginners, it's definitely a good palette. Plus the mirror is massive, so if you're blind like me and you need to get it really close to your face, it's ideal. For the gold palette, the only shade that I get a good amount of use out of is Gravity, which is kind of like the transition or crease colour. Sometimes I use it as a nose contour colour. That's the fire alarm. Pretty sure that's toast. Yeah, I used it on my nose as a contour shade once, but it was just a little bit intense for me, but that's kind of like a colour that I'd probably use to bronze with if it wasn't quite so small. I very rarely get anywhere out of the other colours. I find that Mars and Yorktown look too orange on my eyes. Lonely Pluto is a little bit dark, and I just don't really like the two gold shades, so this palette is probably going to be one that goes to somebody else, even though I think that it is super cute and I love the outside. But in general, if you like pigmented eyeshadow shades, I think you're probably going to be a little bit disappointed in this palette because it's really only the two darkest shades that are very pigmented. I do, however, like that they've given us a mix of matte and shimmer shades, because a lot of the time the K-Beauty palettes that I've had before have just been shimmer shades, which is not very versatile, and I end up with eyeshadows that don't look like any colours, they just look like shimmers. But in general, I am a fan of these ones. I find that the shades aren't as sheer as some of the other K-Beauty colours that I have tried, and they do have a good range of colours in each palette too. So if you can find them, I would definitely recommend them, especially if you are a beginner or someone who travels a lot, because you do get enough shades in here to do like a couple of looks, and considering that you also get a blush and a massive mirror, this could be like the one thing that you take for eyes and cheeks for your trip, that sort of thing. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I will see you next time. Bye!